Hello and welcome to another YouTube and Facebook Live with Prandada Prim. So we're going to give a few people to come on, and then I will be introducing, or I will be allowing Chamica Nicole to introduce herself. Not allowing, she's going to introduce herself. Anyway, so excited to have you on here. So we'll give people just a few minutes to come on, and if you want to share this on your page, we can take a few seconds, just kind of share it now on your pages so that people can know that you're live. Awesome. You want to do that?
I do. I set my phone over to the side, so I'm gonna have to I'm gonna do a sexy reach over.
So welcome to those who are coming on. Say hello.
Okay.
Say hello. Hello, reigning woman. She says, I love nudity. Yes, we all do, don't we? It's amazing. So as you're coming on, we're going to give Chamica just a second to share this. And as people are coming on, let us know. Tell us that you love nudity. Tell us if you don't love nudity. Tell us if you're afraid to be in your skin. Tell us whatever you want to share about nudity, about being naked or naked. So I am extremely comfortable in my nakedness. Let's talk about it. Yes, yes, yes. And so those of you who are coming on, you know that I have this YouTube channel, and my goal is to talk about sexuality, to talk about sex, to talk about these different things, to really get rid of the taboo. You know, it's so important to get rid of the stigma of sexuality. So many people, I have so many clients who just don't talk about sex. They don't talk about sex with their parents. They don't talk about with their siblings or their friends or anyone. So that is my goal, to do that. Reigning Woman says, I am comfortable in my whole being. Therefore, I'm comfortable in my nakedness. Yes. So yes, sister. Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're just giving people a few more minutes to come on. Are you all set? You got to share it? I'm hoping.
I did. It's shared now.
Awesome. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, who is this beautiful Chamica Nicole?
Thank you. First, I'm so excited to actually be on here. I love your page and your work. Obviously my name is Chamica Nicole, and I have been doing this nudity thing my whole damn life. I absolutely love it. I am a sensuality coach, and I help women to live their best life and be wild and free.
Yes, and that's so awesome. And I love that you've been doing this all your life, because I'm the complete opposite, right? Like, I have just always been with tons of clothes on. Like, I come from this Catholic family, super Christian, sin, guilt, feeling all this guilt. And, it was just like we always had to have clothes on. And so I know that there's times lately, since I've been kind of more free, I would go to my family's house and I'd be in a bathroom, not using it, but in not taking a dump or something like that. But I'd be in the bathroom, and the door would be open, and I don't have a lot of clothes on. And my nieces and nephews, they're all older, right? All adults. And then my sister would come by, she'd be like, close the door. And I'm like, why do I need to close the door? But yes, we're not used to it. So when you say that you've been in this all of your life, tell us, how is that? What do you mean?
Oh my goodness.
Your parents do this? And just really quick, hello to those who are coming on. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, reigning woman. So so were your parents nudists? What?
You know what? My parents were not nudists. Actually, they were. My mother was a bit of a prude, but ironically, she did not believe in wearing clothes in the house. She loved being naked, and my father loved being naked. Even now to this day, if my father comes to visit me, he'll wear underwear now because he's just gotten older, and I have kids, so he feels like that's kind of weird. But he'll be sleeping on the couch in his underwear, no big deal. That's just how I was raised, and I was super fortunate to be able to experience that growing up. It was clothes what? My mom's way of separating it was girls upstairs, boys downstairs. Everybody gets to be naked. That was it.
Right. So that's awesome. So the boys would have to be in a different place, and the girls would be in a different place, so you would be comfortable.
Right.
But how would you have felt, do you think, if you and your brothers were in the same place?
So my brothers and I it was more so when we had company.
Oh, got you. Okay.
When we had company, so that our company could feel more comfortable. Because even like as an adult, like when I have company, I'm always naked, and my company eventually, after coming over for a long time, they start to be naked too. So when I would have company, my mother's way of separating it was that. But would I have felt weird, or would my friends have felt weird? I don't know. I really would love for that to have been a normal thing.
Hmm.
I think it was a safety thing for my mother, and that old school thinking that, a lot of people equate nudity to sex. And it's
Hmm.
like, if you're naked, then sex can happen, and that's how we have sex, instead of understanding that you can be naked and not be sexually charged.
Right, right. That is so true. That is so true. And I think also, in addition to that, the protection of like trying to prevent sexual abuse, rape, or molestation, because unfortunately, majority of the people have been abused by someone they know, whether
Right.
it's a friend of the family or a family member. And so, I work with so many women that have been abused by someone that their family knew. So that's the hard thing.
It is. It's an unfortunate aspect of our society. And I don't even want to say that it's a new thing, right? Because I feel like that's something that's been happening for a very
Oh
long
yeah.
time.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and I went to a cuddle party like a couple years ago. Are you familiar with cuddle parties?
So I actually want to start throwing cuddle parties because I feel like as soon as this COVID is over, everybody's gonna need to just cuddle and touch. So touch the vibe right now. Like that's gonna be the first thing I do. As soon as they're like restrictions are off and the numbers are down, cuddle
Right.
party.
Yeah. So I went to a cuddle party, and one of the things that oh my goodness, my camera tries to focus. It tries to follow me. I'm moving too much. But one of the things that I enjoyed about it was that it talked about consent and healthy touch and healthy interaction. And I feel like if we could teach that to the youth, if we could teach that to adults, if we could teach that to everybody on how to ask for what you need and how to receive healthy touch, so that we don't get all excited, so excited when we see somebody naked, or that we think that sex is taboo, that we all of a sudden feel like we have to act on it. And I'm not to say that that's a solution to sexual abuse, but I feel like it may curb some of it if people could actually ask for what they really needed.
Hmm. I definitely agree with you. I definitely think it will carve some of that of the sexual abuse. I think the other piece is that um, the sexuality is such, we're so deprived and we're so repressed. I think if it was more normalized, you would also have less sexual abuse. And because it's almost like a thing where people want to do something that they can't do. Like it's like, oh my God, this is, I'm breaking the law, like I'm doing something. If we normalize this and we saw each other, many times naked, like that would be just so normal. People wouldn't
Right.
have such a reaction, you know?
Yeah,
And
I
yeah.
agree.
Um, so, because for me, the big thing is, when I went and I lived in the Tantra commune, that's what helped me because we were just naked all the time. And being in a Tantra commune and just constantly being around naked people, we had the communal showers. So everyone, was taking showers together naked. You have the different shower heads, but one huge shower thing. And so at first it was a little strange, not because I was naked or anything like that. It was a little strange because, you know, it was a little strange because we would have to, um, like you washing your private parts, and I would be like, how do I wash my private parts? Get up in there without people looking at me and feeling uncomfortable. So that was the big thing. That was the hardest thing for me. But I'm like, okay, well, everybody's washing their private parts, so we're just gonna do it.
Right.
And so that was the whole thing. And then I just kind of got used to it, and it became like the norm. Like, okay, this is what we do. So Let's just say hello. Hello, Nicole, for coming on. Hello, Devin. Hello, Marcelo. Marcelo, boa noite. Tudo bem? Obrigada. So, yes.
So interesting. My household is I have two boys and two girls. And one of the things, like when I had my first son, people were like, "Oh, when your son gets older, you're not going to be able to be naked anymore. When your son gets older, you're going to have to start putting clothes on. What are you going to do then, right?" And I remember thinking, "Oh my gosh, like what am I going to do?" And I'm like, "No way. Like my mom stayed naked." But I had this thought. And what I discovered was that when my son was about like 8 or 9, I saw him looking and I just quickly addressed it. And I was like, "Mom's body is different than your body. And this is what it is. And that we respect women's bodies and we respect young men's bodies." And that was the end of that. But what I also realized was that hypersexuality is a learned behavior. And because my children have not had access to TV or music in such a way, they didn't grow up looking at women's bodies in that way. Like I had family birth. So all of my children got to see their siblings be born, and they saw the body in such a totally different way that they weren't even looking at me like that. Like my son can walk in the room, and I'm always naked when I'm at home, and it's like his eyes are right here, and we have a conversation. And it's no big deal. I go outside, I'm in the backyard, I'm gardening, I'm naked. My son doesn't choose to be naked, but he's outside in his clothes right alongside me, pulling weeds and pruning the garden, and it's no big deal.
Yeah. And you hit on a really important point, the whole sexualization, the over sexualization, just that we get from television, because sex sells. Like we have such a schizophrenic society where, sex is evil, sex is horrible, it's a sin, you're going to hell, you should only have sex if if you're married or to procreate. And so, but yet we use sex on everything. We use sex to sell food. We use sex to sell clothes. We use sex to sell cars, like everything, cigarettes, drugs, everything. And so, I think that, and I love the way you responded, because instead of feeding into that repression and that fear that society has, that your friend said, "What are you going to do when your son gets older?" You're like, "No, we're gonna continue to be us. Like we're natural. This is nothing wrong with this." And you address the issue. And I think that's the thing, even from what you were talking about, like in the cuddle party, it's important to be able to have open and honest communication. And if you see that your kids, they're looking or they have a question, you address the question, you talk to them honestly. You don't try to make up some lies and be like, "Oh yeah, that's a woman's part. Don't ever touch it. Don't look at it. Don't put that." That traumatizes them, and then it makes them want to kind of like touch it even more.
And now they have shame and guilt when they do touch it.
Exactly. So, Reigning Woman asked if you have a YouTube channel, Chamica. Do you have a YouTube channel?
You know what? I do have a YouTube channel, and I've not posted anything on it. I probably have about like 50 recordings on my phone. And you are so helping me right now because I don't like being on camera. So this is, there's no going back from here. So absolutely expect to see things from my YouTube channel.
Awesome. So what we're going to do, once you launch your YouTube channel, we're going to come back on once you put some things, and then we could come back and say, "This is my YouTube channel, watch." And then I'm going to come onto your YouTube channel and we're going to talk some more. And we're going to get some more people on your YouTube channel.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Reigning Woman says, I sunbathe nude, and yes, skinny dipping. I love it. And then Pitumba09 says the freedom, the mist, that must be amazing. It is. And speaking of the sunbathing nude, another thing that I do, I sunbathe nude, or like, if I'm around other people, I'll have on like a dress or a skirt loose, and then I'll open my legs and allow the sun to get to my yoni.
That's such a good practice. Yes.
Oh my God. Yes. our yoni needs to be get that vitamin D. I have a story.
Yes, it
I have
does.
a story. This was so funny. So one day I was in this place, like in the middle of the mountains, right? And I was sitting on top of this hill, and there were a bunch of people around, but like they were down there, and I was kind of in my zone, didn't even realize people were down there. So I had my skirt, my dress on, and I just opened my legs, and I was like getting the sun, and I was just like this. I was like, nice. Then all of a sudden, like, okay, so I'm done. And then I look down and I see all these people looking up at me like, what is she doing? And I was like, I'm like, being me, getting sun to my yoni.
Right. Vitamin D is good for you. That's one of the things I think a lot of people don't realize, the health benefits. You actually sleep better when you sleep naked. It builds your confidence. But like you said, being outside naked, aside from your yoni, which is super amazing for, it actually boosts your immune system.
Yes. Yes. It really does. It really does. So, I mean, there's just so many things. I think that one, it boosts your immune system, but not even just getting it to the JJ,
Right.
But our entire body when we're naked and we're sunbathing. I also like it because I don't like to have the marks. And we have a nude beach here near me, about an hour from me. So I go there every time I get, every chance I get, I'm there and I'm taking it off. And I generally just don't like clothes. I haven't worn a bra. I don't wear panties. I haven't worn a bra and panties in like years now, unless I really, really have to. And if I really, really have to, then I take it off. And a lot of times my shirts are kind of almost see-through. And I just forget. So I'm just wearing my clothes and I go out and then I'll see people looking or staring, but they stare anyway. So it's like, whatever, even if you have a bra on, you see them looking right at the, so I'm like, whatever, they're going to look anyway. And I'm just comfortable in my skin. And I feel like I just have to be me,
I totally hear that. I haven't wore panties in at least a good 8 years. My reason and logic is like, girls who don't wear panties can't get them in a bunch. Like, just can't.
I love it. I love it. You get them in a bunch if you don't wear panties.
No. But yeah, like what you said about lifting your skirt, like I'm actually doing that now. I'm hot. I'm in Arizona. It's like 100 and something degrees outside. So
right.
I've got my skirt hiked. I'm like, oh, get some air.
Right. So it's so funny. It's so funny because when I was talking about, opening up my legs, I started to bring the camera down and do it, but I'm like, oh, I don't have any panties on. So I was like, I might moon someone and then I'll get banned. I'll go to Facebook jail and YouTube jail.
You know what? Then you'll go viral.
Right, viral. And I was really like, how nice would it be to be able to do this nude, and have this, since we're talking about nudity. But
I thought that too. It's unfortunate that there's all these like constricts around the nudity, because when I do my podcast interviews, a couple of my my interviewees have been willing to like play with me and get on and record nude. We haven't like placed and shared that anywhere because I'm not even quite sure where to share it at besides like my OnlyFans account. But just exciting about the fact that people want to get on and they want to explore that and they want to like open up and be more comfortable in their own skin.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what do you say, like what advice would you say to that one person who really wants to get in, and be comfortable in their own skin and get naked? What would you say to them? Like, what do you feel like helps? Or, I mean, what would you say that would help with that?
I would probably say start at home. The things that you do around the house, do them naked. The more comfortable you become with your own body, the more confident you become, and the easier it is to step outside and be okay with other people seeing that. It's like you start to appreciate your curves, you start to appreciate your body so differently after you've seen it a lot. Because when we avoid it, we're like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that about myself. And we cover it up quickly. But when you're actually sitting with it, you start to be like, oh, you know what? man, my breasts aren't really that, as bad as I thought they were. And, you walk past the mirror, you're like, hello. I
Right.
guess, I don't know what I was running from, but I feel like just getting used to it, even if you're not looking in the mirror, just getting used to doing things. Maybe you start with doing laundry or something naked, but just moving about your house naked as you would normally, and then it becomes this normal thing for you.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. So it's so funny because I live in a Buddhist temple now. So I can't walk around naked like I used to when I lived by myself. But I started living in a Buddhist temple because I travel so much, so it just didn't make sense to have my apartment and like paying rent when I'm gone for a month or two at a time. So I
Right.
moved in here, but I am like in my bedroom naked all the time. And it's funny because being here in Brazil, we have washing machines, but we don't have a dryer. Most places don't have a dryer. So we hang our clothes to dry.
Mhm.
And I'm just so open. And so like, I'm in this Buddhist temple, I'm hanging my clothes to dry, and I have my underwear is like all out and you could see it. And I remember the coordinator was like, can you put your underwear in between the clothes or in your room to hang them to dry? Because, we're in a Buddhist temple and even the men and women are separated. And I was just like, yeah, but like why? And I questioned that, and I was like, well, what would that do to the guys that's here? And she's like, well, they might not be able to handle it, And I'm like, okay, yeah, I understand. I was like, but I think this might be something good to really kind of talk about, like why,
Right.
um, I think that understanding that when you create those boundaries and like, no, this is forbidden, then that creates even more sexual tension. But I think if we're more open,
Right.
then it's okay. And the funny thing is, half the people at this temple now work with tantra or like studying tantra, and it just kind of happened where majority of the people here now, it's like half tantric and half Buddhist, because also Buddhism is very open to sexuality, more so open, not very open, but more so open than Christianity
Right.
or like a Muslim, Islam faith. So they're more open to that. And there is a huge tantric connection to Buddhism. So, there's the whole Tibetan Buddhism, you know, um, and so even with other branches of Buddhism, there was some connection with
Right.
Tantra Tibetan Buddhism. There was
That
Tantric
makes
Buddhism.
sense though, because it's the
Yeah.
spiritual aspect, because everybody always thinks of just the sexual aspect of Tantra. And it's like Tantra is so much more expansive than just sex and sexuality. But like you said, going back to that, like what is seeing your underwear going to do? I feel like even with like priests and preachers, we put this whole idea that they all of a sudden don't have sexuality because they stepped into a role. And it's like, why are we ignoring the fact that they do? Simply because they've chosen not to act on it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's still a part of them. Like, there's no certain age when your sexuality turns on. We all like touch. Even babies love touch and sensuality, but we've perverted it, right?
Right.
Society, not we as in personally, but society has made it be perverse. But it's something that is actually natural in our nature. And don't get me wrong, like there's certain aspects of kink and certain things like that that kind of take it to a totally different level, but even that is healthy as long as it's
Hmm.
consensual.
Yes. And even, just to even like add on to what you said, a lot of times they repress it. So a lot of times you hear about the priests who are
Right.
molesting little kids, and even the monks. I was reading a book about, I actually forget the name of the book, but I was reading a book. It might have been like a book about geishas or something like that. And so these women who were, working like as prostitutes. And then they would talk about all the time, like, in ancient days, they would have the brothels would be at the bottom of a monastery. Because what would happen? Those monks would come down and sneak and have sex with the geishas or these women. And so
Right.
then they will go back up to the monastery, go back up the hill and continue meditating and do it. So it's
It's
when
such
you
a sacred act, though. It's such a sacred act. And it's unfortunate that people feel like in order for you to be holy, you have to like forgo it, not have it. It's unfortunate.
It really is. It really is. And so I know we kind of went right into this topic. So we're going to continue talking about nudity, but I also want you to share a little bit about you, a little bit more, because you don't just, the nudity doesn't define you, but this is our topic. But you also work with, some other things. And
I
I found you because a mutual friend or someone who took your yoni breathing course, who was a friend of mine. She will actually be on here next week, Wednesday, Princess. She's going to be on and talking about her yoni steaming because she does yoni steam. So we're going to be talking about that next week, Wednesday. But she went to your yoni breathing and the synchronicities. She sent me a message and she sent you a message. Hey, the two of you must talk. You must connect. I met this lady in this yoni breathing course. And I was like, that's so crazy, the synchronicity, because I'm learning yoni breathing right now and I'm doing yoni breathing and I love it. It's great. So have to talk to her. So then I wrote you and we decided to do this live. So tell us about that. Tell us about what you do and how you got into it.
Absolutely. And just to like add to what you just said, the crazy part is that I had actually been following your other page on Instagram and was going to go to your retreat and something came up. So it really was synchronicity, and I'm so grateful for it because I think that you're absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I actually am the creator of Pussy Tea. So I have
Wait. You got to repeat that. You're the creator of what? I just love the way that sounds. Say that again.
Pussy.
Wait, hold on.
Right.
I'm gonna put it just on you and say that again.
All right. So I am the creator of Pussy Tea. I have an online shop on Etsy, Venus Moon Creations, where I have yoni steams. Actually, Pussy Tea is a pussy trio. So there's Pussy Passion, Pussy Tea, and Pussy Potion for anybody who's feeling extra witchy. And
Pussy tea. We gotta go look up
I
on
love
Etsy.
working
Pussy
with
tea.
I know, right? Pussy Tea. Tengo te de coño.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Lizzie. She says you're both amazing. I think she's loving the pussy, the pussy tea. Yeah. So can you drink this pussy tea? No,
Yes,
I mean,
it is a tea that you drink. It helps women. It's got aphrodisiac in it, but it also helps with like vaginal dryness. And we all could use, not we all, but some women could use a little extra moisture and lubrication in that area. And I do a lot of like womb work, a lot of somatic healing and trauma work. I'm also a hypnotherapist and an 800-hour RYT. So.
nice.
I do lots of things, but my favorite thing is doing retreats and dancing naked in the wilderness. So if you want to come and like release some traumas and do some work and build some sisterhood, that's definitely my jam.
Yes. Well, we're gonna have to do a retreat together in the wilderness. We're definitely. Yes.
We need the world to open back up.
I know. ASAP. ASAP. We got things to do. People to touch. So, I'm curious about the hypnotherapy. So, how do you? What is your main thing about hypnotherapy? Like, what do you work with people on hypnotherapy for?
Lately, actually, it's been the most interesting thing. I've been working a lot with men around their sexuality. It was not something that I imagined coming into my experience because I primarily work with women. So I do work with people around their sexuality, but the main thing that most people come to me for is blocks, money blocks, and different blocks that they're experiencing in their sexuality and their life in general.
Okay.
I like to say I'm more like a computer programmer. Like I help people, debug and put in more healthy program about their life, whether it be their sexuality or their finances or whatever it is.
Oh, it's all connected. It's all connected. Sexuality and finances are definitely
true. Because if your root chakra ain't open, your money ain't flowing.
So true. So true. So true. And I tell people that all the time. Like I have people who are like, oh, I want to do a session with you, but I just can't afford it right now. And I'm like, trust me, when you start doing those sessions, that money's gonna start flowing to you,
Right.
and you'll be
Absolutely.
able to afford it and more,
Right.
So, it's like, yeah, it's all connected. It's connected.
It is.
So,
And
Liz,
saying can't afford is just keeping them farther in that space.
yes. So Lizzie said, "Get me some pussy tea. We need to honor and nourish our sacred magical yonis." Yes, yes, yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can. I'm on Instagram at Venus Moon Creations or Venus Moon Creations on Etsy. Definitely get you some pussy tea. If you message me, I'll send you a discount code as well.
Awesome.
Or can
So
I put
message
it in
her.
the chat and you can add it or?
Yeah, yeah. Put it in the chat, and I'll add that. And yeah. So Raining Woman says, "Do you have a website?" So she was just saying, if you go to Venus Moon Creations. Let me add this on here as well. I should have been done this. Chamica can be found on Instagram at the Butterfly Mystic or Venus Creations, and Love 10 is her discount code. So let me add that on here, and that's through Etsy, right, or through Venus Moon
It's
Creations.
Etsy. I just sent you the link for my Etsy. It's a shorter link.
Okay.
I can be found at both. Depends on
Okay.
what your preference is. If you like the word pussy, then Venus Moon is probably the page for you. And if you're a little bit tamer, then the Butterfly Mystic.
All right, so I just put that on there. So to buy pussy tea, go there and discount.
It's bit.ly. I think I put.
Okay, because I just copied and pasted. Okay, let's
I
put
didn't
that
even catch
again.
that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's add that again here. Okay, so if you want to go buy some pussy tea, go to bit.ly Venus Moon and discount code LOVE10 to get your discount. Yes, yes, yes. As soon as I hit to the States, I'm gonna go buy me some pussy tea. So, it's so funny because I just want to drink some. This might be TMI, so those of you who are like, can't handle this, you might want to close your ears for a second. But I'd be wet. I like soon
Yes.
as I think about sex, I get wet. And it's so funny because yeah, so so I would just be drinking a pussy tea just to drink it. But it's funny because women a lot of times I work with women who, as they get older, 40 plus, they start to get dry. And I'm 46 and I still be wet easily. And they're like, how? Because I do gymnastics, intimate gymnastics, the Kegel exercises. I do, I use the yoni eggs. Those are things that helps you to stay wet. Women, it's so important for you to do that. It's so important for you to work with yoni eggs, do intimate gymnastics. The yoni steaming too is good.
I
Those
love
are
that you call
things.
it gymnastics. I'm going to start referring to that. The yoni eggs are now yoni gymnastics.
Yes, because when I teach intimate gymnastics, I teach it all. I can include that the yoni eggs, the Kegels, yoni yoga. Doing the movements. Get
Yeah.
nice names.
I love the yoni yoga, and I do orgasmic yoga. It's kind of something I created. It's a combination of tantra, kundalini, and hatha, and a little bit of
Yeah.
vinyasa flow with some organic movement. But my favorite is like moaning. I'm like, my favorite part is the
Ah.
moaning.
My favorite part is the moaning. I love to moan.
Yeah, everybody gets into it.
Yes. And so, just since I was giving you your information, let me add me on there too. For those of you who have not added me on YouTube, join me on YouTube, subscribe, and give us a thumbs up because I know you guys are enjoying this. So, give a thumbs up, like this, and share this with other people so that they can come and see it. And, check out my Patreon page, check out my Twitter. My Twitter and Facebook is Renee Adolph. My Patreon is Patreon at Pandada Prim, and my website is www.pandataprim.com. So, you didn't answer the question. You didn't answer my question about how did you get into this? I think I asked that like to tell us a little bit about
Oh
yourself, how
yeah,
you
we
started
got
working
into
with this.
the
And then
pussy.
we kind of talked a lot about other stuff because this was
We
great.
went off on
So
a tangent. So how do I get into which aspect of it? Just everything all together, or?
love it. Oh, so sorry. I was looking at Raining Woman. Honey, I'm 50 years young and my pussy is wet and awesome.
Yes,
Yes, I'm here for it.
I
Yes.
am 40. I'm 40. So you know, it's nice to know that, you know, in 10 years from now, I could still be juicy because I'm claiming that shit.
Yes. I'm claiming that shit. 4 years from now, I'm still gonna be juicy. You hear
Right.
that? You're gonna be juicy. You are juicy, and you're gonna stay juicy. I'm gonna be 80 years old and juicy. I remember
All
I
right.
told my mom was like, when my dad died, I was like having this conversation with my mom, and she hadn't had sex in a long time. And I was like, Mom, yeah, I'm gonna get you a vibrator because you need to still have sex. You're still alive, and you can't be having cobwebs down there. You know, that's just not good for you. So,
Spiritual maintenance.
and she was 70. She was 70. And I'm like, we're gonna get you a vibrator because we gotta take care of that. You gotta still get stimulated.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you were asking, yeah, just how you started working with sexuality. Like, how did this come about? Like, what? Like, I mean, I don't think people just grow up saying, I want to work with Tantra and I want to
I
work with sex.
know. You know
Yeah.
what? Absolutely not. It was something that was just inside of me. Like as soon as I mean, I've always been like a sexual person, but I was raised with a good girl program that, you know, good girls aren't supposed to do these things. And, you know, you date a guy, you get married, you do all, you know, all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when I like my body would be touched, I was so excited and I just wanted more. And I had all these ideas in my head and I would like sneak off to the adult store at like 18. And I was so just intrigued by this aspect of my life. But I followed the protocol of the good girl. I'm not supposed to act on those things. And so I didn't for a very long time. And the older I got, the more bolder I got, and I started to be introduced to other people and other avenues. And I kind of secretly was side-eyeing Tantra for a long time, but I wasn't like bold enough to actually dive into it at the time. And I had a 15-year relationship, and I remember feeling like, what's wrong with me? You know, like what's wrong with me? I want to explore this and I want to experience this, and I wanted to experience it with my partner, but I didn't know how to ask.
Right.
And I felt like there was this wild woman inside, and I thought that the wild woman was something I needed to get rid of, and that the good girl was who I was, right? And then I realized one day that it was the opposite, and I ended that relationship, and my exploration of self began. I began 2 years of dating myself and just allowing myself permission to play with my sexuality and experience it in a way, and that kind of led to teachers, and you know how that goes, right? Like people start showing up and you're like, oh wait, I have shame and guilt in my body. Oh wait, that good girl was actually a program.
Right.
And then I started to identify that, and then that's when the work started to come in. And the nudity aspect was always there. I didn't even know it. People were like, oh, you helped me feel good about my body when I was like 12 and 13 and 15 and 20. And I didn't even realize that it was something that I was doing. It was just so natural.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And that's the thing, so I also have just always been a very sexual person, and I remember growing up, guys always thought I was flirting with them, and it was just me being natural. Like I guess
Yeah,
I'm a natural flirt, but
me
to
too.
me it wasn't being flirtatious. It would just be me being me. I'm always laughing, I'm always smiling, I'm very touchy feely, you know. And in my relationships, I'm always like, I love like wrestling and being thrown on a sofa or throwing him on a sofa if I can. And usually I can't because most of the guys I date are like 6 feet and like 200 pounds or something like that, or 190 pounds, and I'm a small little 5'2", 140 pounds, 130 pounds. And so, but I love that. Like, I love the wrestling, I love the touching, and so naturally, when I'm just kind of even, when I was in middle school, high school, I'm just talking to people and I'm smiling and I'm touching, and they just always thought I was flirting. And I always talked about sex, and I would always like, tap somebody on a butt or something.
It's like we live this parallel. Like, sounds like me. I turned everything into something dirty.
Right. And I think, as children, when you're a child, I think we're just naturally sexual because, we're just innocent and when we're exploring and everything is fine. And I think, I think generally what happens is it's not until adults start saying that's wrong, don't do that. And we start, closing that down and shutting that down. But
Right.
we're naturally sexual beings. I mean, that's just our innate nature. And
Right.
so, not to say that everyone is just naturally, every single person is, flirty and, and open kind of like that. No, but we're all sexual beings and just different people express it to different levels, to different extents, and as we're getting older, a lot of times it's closed off. And so, like for me, it's just always been there. And I think once I started traveling and got to be in this and just really submerge myself into Tantra, into this world of sacred sexuality, of, being around other people who are naked, talking about sex all the time, and doing the work, doing the meditations, the tantric meditation to release those blockages, it just became so much easier for me. And it just, I was like, I have to work with this. Like, I just knew I had to work with this. And I couldn't go back to doing traditional psychotherapy where I'm just sitting and talking to people who have drug issues or, different things. I still deal with that. I still deal with depression and all of these things, but I take it from this whole other avenue, this whole other angle, to really get at, okay, what are the blockages and how do I connect it to sexuality? And and it's just so different. I love this work now,
Yeah, I think for a long time there was like this kind of concern for me of coming out and saying, hey, this is what I do. Because then it's like, then you get thrown in this box. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I just shared pictures as I was painting my studio. I'm opening up a wellness studio next month and I'm painting my studio. And I put out the word. I was like, who wants to come and paint my studio naked? And people showed up to come paint naked. And here we are like painting. So I posted some of the pictures on my Instagram and I was kind of hesitant to share it because I'm like, how are people going to perceive this? Are they going to feel some sort of way coming into the space? And I'm like, but this is who I am, and everybody is welcome here. And I respect everybody where they are, whether they are comfortable with their nudity or they aren't. And I would like and hope that they also would respect me in the fact that I am comfortable with that.
Yes. So, Lizzie says, do you have Instagram? And yes, she does. So Chamica's Instagram is at the Butterfly Mystic or Venus Moon Creations. So you can reach her there at the Butterfly Mystic or Venus Moon Creations. Yes. Follow her. And Cynthia says, great show, ladies. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So and it's fun. I'm loving it. So people that's coming on, do you have any questions about nudity? Do you have questions about what can help you be more comfortable in your skin? I don't know, any questions that you have, like anything what's been a challenge for you? Share what's been hard for you. What's been difficult if you haven't been able to be nude? Like, why do you feel like you haven't been able to be nude? Is it because of who you live with or what you're feeling? Share, let us know. Love to hear. All right. So as people are writing, what's been a block for them with being nude, being naked? What else? So we've talked about a lot of great things.
Oh my goodness. I know. I would love to share though. So I just recently in March did a retreat for men. And it was really interesting to see the things that come up for men being naked. that I feel like we don't think about. I really didn't. It was such an eye-opening experience for me, and such a powerful place to hold space for men while they're being so vulnerable in that way. And to see these men like show up and get naked and talk about their body issues and ways that they feel is really, really powerful and really interesting, because I think we as women forget that they experience stuff too.
Yes, and that is so important. So speaking of the men, a man chimed in. Phil says, only block for me is if I have guests at my house. And so and it's so interesting because I traveled with the guy once, and it was interesting thing because he actually said that to me. I was always naked around him, right? And he was like, he had actually mentioned how he had a block because he had body dysmorphic disorder, and he couldn't. And he was like, just traveling with you made it comfortable for me to be able to get naked in my skin. And before the end of the time that we traveled together, he was like always naked. And it was so good. And it was just like, I helped him to be able to be comfortable with that. And
Right.
it's so, it's so important.
I
I
love
think a lot of times,
it.
us being, being who we are, you just don't realize how much you can help someone else, and you can, you know,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
People don't realize how liberating it is, and how like once they can get over it. So I recently, I was dating somebody, and he had never been naked outside in public. And we went to the lake, and I was like, I'm going to get naked. Are you going to get naked with me? I didn't realize he had never been naked outside in public before. And he's like, yeah. And then I just like rip off my dress, and I'm like splashing around in the water, and he jumps, he's a good sport. He jumped in, and I actually got some really good pictures of him. And then he tells me later, he's like, I've never done no stuff like that before. Like, that was crazy. But it also gave him the freedom to do and to show up in a greater way in so many other areas of his life. And that was so powerful to watch. Like, something as simple as getting naked in the lake, you know?
Yes, yes. And I love being naked out. I've skinny dipped so many times, gotten, let me tell you. So this is a great comment. So this is one of the comments about the blocks to being naked and the society's ideas on penis size. So talking about the men again, um, and that's an important one because so many men feel uncomfortable about that. And I've had men ask,
Right.
and the average penis size is like 4 inches, and so that's the average penis size, 4 inches. And quite honestly, the average vaginal canal is about 5 to 6 inches.
Right.
So, so honestly, if you see a man with like a 6 inch dick, 7 inch, 8 inch, there's a lot of women who don't like big dicks. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like it when it's huge. Like it's just I don't like it when it's too huge. So I like an average, good size. So there's different women that like different things, different sizes. And I think society is like, oh, you have to be this size when
Right.
you really don't,
I've actually had friends who prefer, somebody to not be as big, but I think that, I mean, to not stay focus on the size, because it really isn't about the size. Like, your body is beautiful, and you are divinely made, regardless of what size it is. And I think that men forget, like, there are women who wish their breasts were bigger or their ass
Yes,
was bigger. Like, let's get over it and say, okay, if there's something we can do about it, great. And if there's not, then I'm going to love me and be the best version of me and do the damn thing. And I think that's really what it is like, if you got 2 inches, 4 inches, or 6 inches, love the shit out of it, because somebody else is willing to love it, but they're not going to love it until you do.
exactly. Yes, yes. And I like that. And I have to say, my first time ever squirting was with the smallest guy I've ever had. And that was the first time I ever squirted, and that was with him. So, for me, yes, not to go back on the
He was
size.
big enough to hit. He was big enough to hit the magical button.
Exactly. But I love what you said. I absolutely love it. Like, love what you have, love you completely whole. And yeah, and then it's not until you can't love it. If you can't love yourself, it's going to be hard for someone else to love you,
Right.
you know? Um, So that's a huge piece. I'm so happy that you said that. And thank you, C Poe or Pow 629 for sharing that. Sometimes I don't know how to pronounce things anymore because I've lived in Brazil so long. So I don't know how to pronounce things, whether it's English, Portuguese, Spanish, because I travel in South America, so I also speak Spanish. I speak Portuguese here. And I'll be like, I don't know if I'm speaking with a Portuguese accent or the English. So, you know, anyway, thank you for that. Anyone else want to share? And I guess going back to Phil's like thing with he says the only block is if he has guests at his house. And we talked about it earlier. I don't know if he was on, well, I think we did. When I here in Rio where I live, before I lived in a temple, I was just always naked in my house. And people would come to my house and they would just know I'm just gonna be naked. And I had one friend, it's so funny, she's Vietnamese and so shy, so timid, so completely blocked. And I remember the first time she came to my house, and I was just like, "This is just how I am. Like, it's hot. I'm not gonna put on clothes, and I don't have AC, and it's how it is." And she really also opened up a lot because she was always coming over to my house and noticed that I was naked. She never got naked, but she began to get comfortable with that and knowing that. And so, it's that same thing. Like you're in your house. And so if you have that open and honest communication, then, people they'll accept that or maybe just
They
not come
get over
over.
it eventually, or they stop visiting. I'm always outside in my backyard naked. And when I first moved in my house, I was like, oh goodness, what are the neighbors gonna say? And then I was like, it's my fucking house. Like, if you don't like it, don't look in my backyard.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna do me, and I'm gonna be me 100%. And I didn't buy a house for me to feel like I can't be naked in my backyard. And in case your children need a lesson on like what a woman's anatomy looks like, they could just look in the look in the mirror.
Right. So, Lizzie has a question. I love to be naked, but resist it because, well, not really a question, but I guess it is a question because of being sexualized by others or people having the attitude of, oh, who does she think she is? She must think she's amazing to be naked like that. So, what do you think
All right.
about that?
So my first thing is, yes, you think you're amazing to be naked like that. Like why do people feel like we should walk around and have low self-esteem? Like there's no reason for you to not love yourself. There's the only reason why people want you to feel that way is because they are uncomfortable with themselves. Unfortunately, it's a side effect of our society right now where they do hypersexualize and sexualize women's body, but we have to get over that and help to make this be a normal thing. We really, really, truly do. Like loving yourself is nothing wrong with that. That is a beautiful act. Actually, it's what we're here to do, is to love ourselves in such a way. So my advice on that one would be, fuck them. Do you? And if they have an issue with it, maybe just offer them love and compassion, right? Because we don't want to give them an attitude or give them reason, but also don't let them change who you are and how you show up. Keep showing up. I love myself. I don't care if somebody thinks, oh, who is she for her to be naked? Like I'm me. That's why. Like exactly. I'm me, and you have the same right for you to be you. And I respect you and I love you regardless if you wear clothes or you're naked. So I'm hoping that you do the same.
Yes. So good evening, NC Worker. Thank you for coming back again. I love seeing repeats. Awesome. Yeah, and yeah, I love what you just said. I mean, you are who you are. I think that we have to stop worrying about what other people think. And I know it's not that easy, but yeah, we do have to stop worrying about what other people think. We've been so conditioned to worry about how other people are going to see us. And honestly, people are always going to talk. People are always going to
just about to say that. They're going to have an opinion no matter what you do.
No matter what you do.
Whether you stay completely clothed, they're still going to talk. They're still going to have an opinion and a judgment about what you're doing. So you might as well do what makes you feel good. And
Exactly.
you're not hurting anybody by loving yourself, and actually you're just putting more love into the world so other people can tap into that and start to love themselves more. So I
Yes.
think that's a spiritual act.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. So one of my favorite mantras in Portuguese is foda-se. Foda-se, which means fuck it. Fuck that shit.
For
And that's
that.
what I say. Somebody's gonna be like, oh, you don't have on a bra. Fuck that shit. Somebody's gonna be like, your clothes are too tight. Fuck that shit. There's always gonna be somebody talking about you. So what I say, fuck that shit. I don't care. I'm gonna do
100%.
me. And I'll be like, you know what? When you come and you start paying my bills and putting food on my table and cooking for me and
Right.
buying my clothes, then maybe you can talk. But no,
Right,
you still can't
right.
talk. You
If
still
you're
won't be
not
able to
fucking
talk.
me, feeding me, or financing me, I'm certainly not entertaining your comments.
Exactly,
And
exactly,
even then, even in that, I may entertain it, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna take it.
exactly, exactly, exactly. So you know what? As we're talking, I'm like, you know what? We need to do a nude retreat. You and
Yeah.
I need to do a nude retreat. If y'all would come to a nude retreat, well, virtual for right now, let us know. You know, let us know. Let us know. Say something. Say yes. Say yes. Say I'm down. Maybe that's something we should do. I think that would actually be fun.
I think
You
that would be
know.
fun too. My friend and I like to like randomly call people on Instagram, and we'll be naked, and we'll just, I mean, with consent, like we've asked their permission
Yeah.
ahead of time, but they never know
Right.
when the call's coming. It'll be like 2 o'clock
Right.
in the morning, and we'll just start a chain, and we'll all just be like partying on Instagram, like naked.
Well,
Like,
I want to be included in this. Please add me.
oh, I will absolutely include you in that. I would love that.
I would love that. Awesome. Yeah, so Lizzie says yes. We got one person saying yes. So if anybody else is interested, let us know because, you know, this just came to me. So, like, I would love to plan it and I think it would be fun. Like, we're in quarantine, there's a second wave coming. Let's have some fun. Let's have a nude virtual retreat.
I
It
know,
won't be
right?
recorded. Let's just everybody get nude and we talk. We talk about sexuality, whatever, you know. We can work on some things and you know, let's
Right.
do
We could do
it.
some yoni breathing maybe, or,
Yeah.
well, since we may have the male folk in there too, we could do some orgasmic breathing and some toning and different things we could throw in there. Ugh.
Yes, yes. And there is the lingam breathing for the men.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, so there's the yoni breathing and lingam breathing. So we have men and women, we can do it all. We can do it both. Yeah. So um awesome. So Reigning Woman says, great show. Yes, I'm up for it. So we got at least two people. And NNC worker says, are men allowed? If so, I'll be interested. So we got three folks. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'm so down. I love to play with you, and I love to actually see everybody else. So yes, please.
Let's do it. So CFO says yes. We got at least four people. All right. So we're gonna do this. Let's plan this for August.
Okay.
Yeah, let's plan it for August. We can do a night, like not a whole retreat. We'll do a night, maybe like a Friday night or Saturday night, virtual naked party, and let's have some fun. Everybody can bring their beverage of choice. You know, adult beverage of choice. If people don't drink, they could bring their pussy tea. You have pussy tea. Can men drink the pussy tea?
Men can drink the pussy tea. Yes.
Men, you might love the pussy tea. So order some pussy tea, or have your wine, or your whiskey, or your scotch, and let's we're gonna plan a Friday or Saturday night of naked virtual party. So, oh, this is exciting! I can't wait.
I
So guys, this has been so much fun. CPO says I'll be there. All right. So look,
know.
if you are not on my Facebook or Instagram, please add me on Facebook or Twitter at Renee Adolph, ReneeAdolph, so that you can see when this is coming up. Also, email me at prandataprim@gmail.com and I can send you the information when we have this planned. Or you can add me on Instagram at prandataprim_tantra. Um, Also, join me, don't forget to hit a thumbs up on this that you like this. Share this with other folks. This was some great stuff. Share it. And so we'll be sure to let you know when we have this plan. Also, follow Chamica at the Butterfly Mystic or Venus Moon Creations. That way, if you miss it on mine, you won't miss it on hers. You have both of us. You can be sure to get it to not miss out, because it's gonna be fun. Believe me, we're gonna plan this. So Lizzie says, I have to go, ladies, but I have loved watching you and feeling inspired. I love to you both. Thank you for being you and spreading your love and wisdom.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lizzie. You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So, Chamica, you want to share? Do you have anything coming up that you want to share with people? Yeah.
I do have a retreat that's coming up in September, and I've not made it public or made a huge deal about it in this moment, simply because of what's happening with this pandemic. But I do have that coming up, so just keep an eye out. Depending on which way the energy sways, you may see it show up on Instagram. Otherwise, it may just be an inclusive, like up to 10 women thing. So other than that, I've got a new wellness center opening, and I'm super excited to play in that. And Pussy Tea is open 24 hours. Get yours.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. So hopefully, you get to do your retreat in September, and people can find out about that. At the least, add her on Instagram, the Butterfly Mystic or Venus Moon Creations, and buy the tea. Oh, I do want to share. I almost forgot about this. I have the Goddess Rising Retreat coming up August 22nd to 23rd. It is for women only. It doesn't matter, no, I shouldn't say only women. It is open for anyone with a clitoris. So anyone with a clitoris, it's open for you. As long as you have a clitoris. We're going to be talking about how to reframe your erotic autonomy. So goddess rising, reframing erotic autonomy. So we're going to be talking about how to just really release shame, release doubt. We're going to help you to teach you how to become sensual and sexual. We're going to have stripping away self-doubt. We're going to teach you how to do lap dances, how to walk like a stripper. We got Essence Revealed, who used to be a stripper. She wrote the book Stripped, and she's going to be teaching us some goddess stripping moves. I'm also going to be doing it with Frenchie Davis, who is a sexual abolitionist, and you are surely a tantric therapist and sacred sexuality worker. So, coach. So we're going to really just be doing.
I like worker. Woo!
I know. I was like, let me clear that, coach, not worker. But nothing wrong with being a sex worker. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But be clear. So, so yeah, we're going to be working on doing like tantric exercises, just kind of reframing your thought and reprogramming how we talk and think about sexuality. And, so it's going to be fun. So hit us up. We have the pre-early bird special for $80 up until July 31st. So you have until July 31st to pay the pre-early bird pricing of $80. After that, the pricing does go up, I believe, to $97, which is the early bird pricing. And then regular pricing goes up after August, I think 10th or something like that. So that information is on my website on www.prandataprim.com under events. So if you go to events, you will see Goddess Rising. So hurry soon if you want to get that special. It's Saturday and Sunday for the morning from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. August 22nd and 23rd, the Goddess Rising, Reclaiming Your Sexual Autonomy workshop. So come check us out. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some sensual dance
Sounds like
moving.
it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Tantric meditations and some great intimate conversations. So come join us. Other than that, that's the biggest thing that I have. If you want to, take it slow and learn about Tantra, join me on Patreon. Patreon is a exclusive Patreon membership starting at $5, from $5 to $50. There's different plans where you're just really going to learn, get some great tips and tools on Tantra. You get to see my YouTube videos before I air them, and you get shout outs on my YouTube, depending on which membership you have. But really, I have self-exploration Sundays where I talk about self-exploring. I have Monday meditations where we do meditations, and Tuesdays are Tantric Tuesdays. So, and then during the rest of the week, you get little bonus things and tips and just music that I'm listening to, different things. So it's great. So join me on Patreon for more, and to support me. And there you have it. So thank you guys. Thank you, Chamica. This was amazing. I loved having you on here. And yeah, let's talk about the nude party, because we already got 4 people, and I think people would love to join.
That's like a whole party right there, and definitely more people will join, I'm sure. Thank you so much for having me on. Like I said, I absolutely love your energy, and it's great to be able to connect with you.
Yes, thank you. It's so great to connect with you. And yes, I found another sister tribe. My tribe just keeps growing. All right. So awesome. Thank you again for coming on. And don't forget to connect with Chamica on Instagram. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you all so much for coming on. This is great. Thank you, everybody who was participating and talking to us. This was awesome. Talk to you guys soon. See you. Bye.
Bye.